welcome. Can we see who is in this room? I will tell you who I am first. I'm Jami Duffy. I'm the longtime executive director of Youth on Record, and this is my second year as co-manager of the Underground Music Showcase. But let's see who's out here. How many of you are playing UMS? Yeah. Wonderful. How many of you are playing UMS for the first time? Yeah, I love it. How many of you are currently using this platform? Cool. That's great. Welcome. Hi, welcome. Well, I am super excited to teach about one of my new favorite topics, and it's not that AI is one of my new favorite topics, but one of my favorite topics is talking about how to empower Colorado's creatives to run your business smoothly, to make the money that you need to free up your time so you can be creative, be in your superpower. Here comes my pokey little puppy, Adrian Molina, who's always late to my session. Get in here. This guy, he's part of this session. He's probably going to go to the bathroom first. He'll be in 10 minutes later. So I'm super excited. So very last minute, our friend Richie Robot here, he was in town, which is rare, and agreed to hop on this panel with me, which I am so excited. And this is going to be an interactive class, so questions are welcome, and we're going to show you real time how to use this platform in ways that maybe you haven't thought about. I don't typically read bios, but I'm going to do that because this man's bio is so extensive and impressive and beautiful that I'm going to do that. So this man here, Richie, is an early, we came up with the term sort of early adopter. I don't know that anybody is necessarily an AI expert yet, but definitely early adopter. Originally an architect for Quiznos. He found his true passion as a beatboxer. Today he is an international award-winning performer, speaker, writer, and music producer. He's a National Harmony Sweepstakes winner and two-time finalist on NBC's The Sing-Off. He tours as a singer with Freedom Boombox and develops programs with the U.S. Department of State's Cultural Affairs. He's traveled to over 60 countries as an independent artist, and he works with programs like American Music Abroad and Arts Envoy. Before performing, he co-founded Wordplay, Well Vessel, and the Hong Kong Music Walk, and acapella nights in Colorado. How old are you? I feel like I worked my butt off, and I'm like, I better get to it. This is seriously impressive. This man is amazing, and what I am so excited about working with you today is I'm going to bring you guys this sort of technical aspect of how to run your business, but you've been using AI creatively, yeah? So is there anything else you'd like to add to your extensive, beautiful bio? While I melt like I'm in Southern Church up here, it's all right.
I'm exhausted already, hearing that bio. That was written by ChatGPT, by the way. So
it was?
Thank you.
And our session outline today was written by ChatGPT. So it nailed your bio. Okay. Good job.
Perfect.
Okay, so I want to bop in here with a little bit of level setting about what this session is and what it isn't. So what we're not necessarily going to do in this session is go to that sort of like high context, existential, policy, regulation, are the robot overlords and the aliens working together? We're going to talk about that stuff later, after this session, at the bars and sober bars. But if you do want to get involved as an artist in conversations about regulation, about, let's welcome Bobby. Let's just all be really quiet when he comes in. I made him do that. Welcome, Bobby. This is Bobby. Bobby just finished his 3-year term as Colorado's statewide poet laureate. He's also an AI early adopter. So if you do want to get involved, which is really important to have artists' voices at the table when we're talking about regulation, talk to this man here, Michael Bracey, who runs Music Policy Forum. He knows folks who are at the table doing this work. So if you're real interested in that side of things, connect with him after. Here's my overview of AI and my take on it for all of us. This is here. This is a tool. And while we figure out the regulation like all of that, this is a tool for you to run your business. And so our session today is called AI is not the artist, but it can be your assistant. That's absolutely true. And I truly believe that your art will not be replaced by AI. But I also know that you will be replaced by artists who use AI to run their business. You have to get on the tech that is going to help you run your business so that you can be in the business of what you do best, which is creating, performing, collaborating, storytelling. How many of you are spending more time than you would like on the business side of your business? Yep. The other thing I want you to think about is this. I don't know, Richie's going to talk a little bit more about this, but I don't know that AI is yet a really great creative writer. Bobby's played around with some poems, and it's not great, is it? No. But I have my friend here, Laura Bond, who is really the best technical writer I know, and we've been writing together for 15 years? Really technical writing. We do creative writing stuff, but she's also one of the best creative writers I know, but she's an amazing technical writer. Technical writing is a skill. It's a formula you learn. And we've gone through this process, and AI is a phenomenal technical writer. It just is. And it makes sense because technical writing is pretty formulaic, right? So if you are struggling with some confidence about technical writing, if you're writing grants, press releases, things like that, this is really going to help you out. So what we're going to do in this session today is we're going to real-time use this thing. What I'm going to do is take you through how AI can support you in building your branding. Then we're going to walk through how AI can support you in routing your tour. And then what are you going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about different platforms, different tools that you can use. There's a lot of things out there beyond ChatGPT. And yeah, we'll get into it a little bit.
Cool. I know how to use AI, but I don't know how to adjust a fucking mic stand.
Can you ask ChatGPT how to raise?
She knows how to do a lot of shit. Okay. So I will say, as Youth on Records executive, thank you. I mean, it's like the music shit. I'm like, help! I'm a giant person. So I use AI every day. I use ChatGPT every single day. The folks who work for me know this. I have to do a lot of technical writing. I have used AI for everything from, like I said, writing our grants to rolling out marketing strategies to writing membership plans to writing website content. Here's how this thing works. It just continues to build. So the more questions you ask it, the more it continues to build, and you can refine as you go. So I want to start, Jesus. It's all right, everybody. We're here together. I actually want to start with an experiment I did on your behalf this weekend where I wanted to see if AI could route a tour. So let me show you what I did, and then I want to hear from you if we want to plug in any more questions. Uh-oh. What just happened here? Her internet stopped? Uh-oh. Did the internet just stop? It was working. Yep. Ah. We got to make sure my computer's plugged in too.
The limitations of technology
That's right.
on display immediately.
My thing has to stick with it.
You need a hotspot.
There we go. Okay. Boop, doop, boop, boop. Okay. So I started with this prompt. Let me get the F out of the way of the TV here. Okay. I'm a musician from Colorado who plays in a 4-piece folk rock band called the Coloradans. Very creative. Our band can fill music venues between 100 and 300 people. We want to launch a tour in the American West and Southwest over a 6-week period. Now, here's the superpower. If you don't know what you need to input, ask the robot what you need to input. So I ask, what information do you need from me to route my tour? So in 2 seconds, it gives us this. Thank you. I'm also always really polite to the robot, just in case they do decide to take over. I still use my manners. I say please. I say thank you. So when they come for us, they're like, she was always really nice. So this is what it says we need to be thinking about as we're routing our tours, which to me is really actually helpful. So preferred start date, tour duration. Can we make some space for Jessica? She's gonna need to be over here. Perfect. Hi, Jess.
Welcome, welcome.
Jessica, our Queen Bee accessibility coordinator for all of UMS. Okay, so it's asking us what cities and regions are of interest, traveling logistics, rest days. That's something I didn't think about. What do you like to do on your rest days? Accommodation preferences, local support acts, performance dates and times. If you have some ideas of, do you like evenings, do you like weekends, do you like daytimes? Budget consideration and other preferences and constraints. So anytime I ask AI what it needs from me and it gives me a 10-point thing, here's what I just do. I copy and paste that to Microsoft Word. I do my work to fill that in, and then I just recopy and paste that back to AI. So I answered these questions. But think about this. This is a good process to go through, right? Because you're like, I don't even think about that for my own tour. So I gave it all the stuff that I wanted to do. I wanted to travel October to November. I asked it to recommend local venues for me. I said we're traveling by minivan, include lodging options for each city where we can either park or sleep in the van. I said we love the outdoors, so make sure that our rest days include nature. But I added this. We're also active in the pro-choice movement and would love to meet pro-choice organizations on our rest days, right? So if you're an impact artist and you're trying to meet folks who are, on the same, Dad's here, celebrity. Andrea's dad's in the house. Whoa. This guy, Fred Vierial. And he's going right in the back. There he goes. I'd prefer right in the front row. Hi, buddy. So anyway, I fill this all in. Now on the budget, I was kind of taking the perspective of a young artist, right? It's like, you need to do your budget. And so I took the perspective of, I'm new to this. So I'm like, build the budget template for me. I don't even know how to do that, right? Little clue. I like to tell AI, ask AI, ask AI. To include tables, right? So here's what it spit out. Include tables where appropriate. Oh, look at this. We have a tour itinerary. You'll see how I started to ask it to be more specific, but it started with some dates. It started to plug some stuff in for us. So I ask it to be more specific, but it's got date, city, venue, accommodation, rest day activity, and the pro-choice organization. So it also spit out my budget template, right? Like, what do I need to consider when I'm on tour? Transportation, accommodation, meals, venue rentals, fee, promotion and marketing, all of the stuff. What I love about it is it spits out things that I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, right? So you can, it will just keep generating. So you kind of read through all of this and decide how you want to refine it. So I said, that's fine, but I just said update with specific venue options, right? Okay. So it comes with some of the venues that we want to look at, right? Some of these I knew, some of them I didn't. And then some of them, like this, I was like, I said 100 to 300 people. I did not say the Ogden Theater.
Tour,
It's
maybe.
okay, it's learning. It's a baby robot. It doesn't know everything. So then I put in a couple things in Denver, right? Of course, I want to play High Dive. I want to play Skylark. So it just continues to revise, refine. I think I put in here at one point, I wanted specific hotel and motel options. Then AI thought that we were like the richest people in the world and we could stay at all of these hotels. And I was like, Madam Robot, we can't do that. We can't stay at the Maven. That's $400 a night. So I go back and say, these hotels are too expensive. I need budget hotels, please. So it comes back and it gives me all the Motel 6s in every town I'm staying and information about the chain. And they're like, this is a great option. Here's the websites you can go to. I also love, can you see how it's filling in what we should do on our rest days, right? So if you wanted to dig into that and you're like, hey, I have a rest day on October 4th. Tell me more about what I can do in Taos. So you can see, you can ask it any kind of questions you want. I think I did ask down here, I'll flip through. I did ask it to give me specific, here we go. Revise with specific pro-choice groups, right? Because I want to see who I could go visit. And there they are, right? That's who so now it's getting there, right? Now it's like, okay, here we go. Here's what we're doing, here's our dates, here's how we can really start to think about our tour and have this route. So I'm gonna stop there and see what questions we have about routing a tour and if we wanna throw one or two in here out of curiosity. Thoughts, questions, have any of you used this throughout your tour? And I'm gonna bring you the mic so that we can have this on our recording. And can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kelsey. I am an artist manager. This would be very useful to me. I am curious to know what the drive time would be between places.
Let's ask that right now. If you all don't know Nina, who's playing upstairs, she's like the one right now. She's so good. Okay. I'm going to put it exactly how you phrased it. So I'm curious about drive time. Okay. That works, right? I'm curious about drive time between tour stops. Please route a driving map or schedule for my tour.
Is there a possibility to add gas price or fuel charge?
Yep. How our internet? Must be really slow internet. There we go. So this is telling us that I need. Let me just copy this table. It may not know that this is what we decided. Let's see if this works. One thing I have noticed about the platform is if you're in it, and it's normally so fast, I think the internet here is no good, but when you're in it and you're doing sequential questions in the moment, like it's really quick, sometimes it has like a hard time remembering if you go back like a week later. Have you guys noticed that too? It's like it kind of forgot that the conversation was happening and you have to refresh it. I think we're having an internet issue. That's no fun. I'm looking at Andrea as if she can solve that. As if Andrea.
If you want a hotspot.
We might need to put it on a hotspot. Do you have a hotspot?
I do.
Thank you.
I have a comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is super interesting in terms of building out a tour schedule, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of how you apply this concept with like a production schedule in terms of, you know, artists that are busy, that have day jobs, that have families, etc. How do you find the time and kind of and the organization around producing music, releasing music, all of that, as well as like marketing schedules? How do we really get track of like IG, Instagram, Twitter, all the platforms, and putting content out, but using this as an organizational tool to support that, right?
Yeah, as soon as we get back on here, one thing that this tool can absolutely do for you is, for example, you could just put your bio in there and say, here's who I am as an artist. And I want to get to 1,000 more social media followers by the end of a 30-day period. Using my bio, please write, and we'll ask it to do this here, please write a 30-day marketing strategy for my band, include it in a table, right? And then you ask it and write the specific social content. So it will tell you day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and it will also tell you, here's your Instagram. It'll write your Instagram post, your Facebook post, it'll write it entirely for you, and then all you do is just copy that into your social media every single day.
So I have a piece. My name is Celia. I have a 16-year history in marketing and social media, and what I'm finding is most helpful is when you tell it the personality that you're writing from. What I'm seeing a lot of artists do right now is that the language is coming across very generic. It sounds like it's coming from AI. It's using words you would not normally use. You can personify what it outputs by telling it, and that's why the hint about using the bio is great, but also inform it how to speak. And I'm sure that everybody's hearing this right now is like, improve the prompts, improve the prompts. That's really all there is to do right now. But tell it how you speak. You can tell it how you speak. You can tell it to sound witty if you're a witty person. You can tell it to sound intelligent. You can tell it to sound urban. You can tell it, so you can continue to refine those things so that what it's outputting really becomes foundational for you. And I always, and I'm going to continue to encourage, not a copy and paste, but use it as a foundational piece and make sure that you touch it. When we talk about the responsibility of us in interacting with AI and teaching AI, because we are teaching this thing, is you then have to continue to have the human element present to it. And as a marketer with a long history, that's my 2 cents for what it's worth.
100%. Yeah, you can make it, you can prompt it to have any voice you want. So I got permission from Molina to use his bio that's on Youth on Record's website, right? So what would a prompt that you would use to like if I want to say, please make this bio, let me do this. I like to think about audience, right? So I'm going to say, revise this bio for a youth audience. Let's just play with that. It doesn't give a shit about typos, I don't think. I will, I'm gonna. I got it. Thanks for editing on this.
It's live chat GPT.
We can be your ChatGPT.
Yes.
That would be a great human experiment.
So it takes what is Molina and it revises it here. I'm gonna do one more. The other thing I would say is, just like Sin was saying, it is your job to go back and edit it, right? Like people are gonna know if you didn't, and it's kind of, they're gonna know. So also make it yours. But let's try this for another audience. I want it to revise for elected officials. Be polite. Thank you. So you can see how it's going to be a little bit different, right? And significantly more formal. And let's say Molina was wanting to submit his bio ahead of a class he was teaching, he would use the Young Creative one. If he's wanting to work with the State Department, he would work with this, right? I'm just going to play with one more prompt, and I'm going to pass this over. So for the marketing strategy, right, I'm going to play with a prompt right now that is creating that marketing rollout strategy. Let's see what it does. Facebook, Instagram, and what else? Okay, let's see if this does it. Okay, so right now it did the marketing plan. So this is going to be your plan by day. It didn't write the specific content, so I'm going to ask it to write the content for each post, right? But the nice thing about this is you can just work the plan after you do this. So we're going to ask it to write content. That's beyond my capabilities. I have no idea.
They have their own platform that it's running off of. Yeah, Google is developing one, and there's I know there's a music ML that Google has. I'll show you that in a minute. I don't know what it's called exactly, but there's the whole thing of this is open AI. So I'll get into this in a minute, but frankly, everybody has access to it.
Here you go. Okay, so here you go. So here's all your specific content for every day, right? It even includes your emojis. So, welcome to Molina's specific Facebook. He would fucking say that. He would say that. Hey there, beautiful souls. I'm Molina Speaks, an artist of the people and for. This is him.
Yeah.
Through poetry, music, and more, I'm here to connect, inspire, and empower. Let's embark on this incredible journey together. Drop a heart in the comments if you're excited too. All of his hashtags. Day 2, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, 30 days. Hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm going to pass the mic over to Richie to talk about how he's using this for the creative process. But just keep in mind that this is not replacing you. I'm going to end my content with this note. I really believe this. These two are flipping out in the corner. Are you? You okay?
It's not necessarily great what it came up with, but it gives you the scaffolding, so you then go back in and make it. So in a way, it makes the argument for why the artist is essential. Like, the robot gives you the foundation, but the artist makes it their own.
Yeah, the artist can totally zhuzh it up. Exactly. So you won't be replaced by this. It still needs your content. That also comes from somebody who's been in marketing and all that for years and years and years. Yeah, and it's just hard to cut through the noise in social media right now too, right? So we are going to still need your creativity.
As an example of how I used it this week, I was writing 30-second commercials for this project, and the more you give it, the better it gets, like to Celia's point, right? So I cut and pasted something, a long form that I had written before, so it kind of was, it knew my language. And then it's that thing, it's going back, and I cut and pasted a bunch of like mission, vision statements and things like that, and in 2 seconds, it generated 12 30-second commercials that I was able to go in, manipulate, and by the end of it, I'm like, it's the time that I saved, right? So that we can move on. Oh my God. Hours, yeah, like hours and hours and hours. So yeah, it's the time that you get back that it's a collaboration. You have to look at it as a collaboration.
I love that. Yeah. It's definitely a collaboration, and I think our robot overlords would also appreciate that way of speaking about it. But it is a collaboration in all seriousness. And a couple people who know me have known that I have said this before. I think the risk of this is that we would save all this time. Well, I'll say this. In the 70s, when they were developing PCs, and there are interviews on the record, they said, what's life going to be like in 2020 because of this? And they said, everyone's going to have so much more time. And what did we do? We filled it with a bunch of other shit that we don't want to be doing, right? And a lot of the stuff that now we're going to make the robots do because we didn't want to do it, and we're in this ping pong. So my thought is, I don't know if this can happen globally. I don't know if it can happen nationally, but I think it can happen locally. That if we, as the Denver community, say, we are using this, we are adapting this, we're using this in our art, in our businesses, at work, we're not going to fill it with more work. We're going to reduce the amount of time that people have to be at work. And that's what I'm trying to commit to at Youth on Record. If you can get this done, these two are looking at me, they're like, don't you dare say that on the microphone. you can have a 4-day work week, right? Like we're looking for the kind of outputs that we need, right? So maybe he's like, I've been on this site for 68 hours, Jami. But honestly, it's like, if we do not get in the driver's seat and say this could restore some of our humanity and personal contacts, we're gonna have to be the ones who do that locally. So I know this has freed up time for me to have way more one-on-one FaceTime with artists, colleagues, because I'm not spending all of the hours coming up with this content. Okay, Richie's been using this for creative process, and I'm so stoked to hear what he's gonna share with us.
So, yeah, all right.
Oh, you have a mic.
I got my own
I don't know anything about this shit.
I like we coordinated our outfits today without even thinking
First
about
time wearing this dress, so you know.
Yes. So first of all, thank you for having me here today. I'm from Colorado originally. I should clarify one thing from my bio. She said that I was an architect for Quiznos. Anytime people hear that, they think I'm like a sandwich architect. No, I was actually building buildings for them, and they laid off a bunch of us, and then music became my thing. I'm a beatboxer and a singer and an a cappella singer. That's my trade, and so I kind of have this like organic music purity part of my soul that's over here, and so when AI is like entering my life, I don't want to like completely sacrifice that. So that's my perspective coming at you today. Is everybody like feeling good about AI now? I think. Is anybody still like frightened of it, terrified of what it is, or kind of? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
You could absolutely change that and say, but I know.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and because what we're putting into this, I'll get a little esoteric and then I'll come back out of it for a second. What we're putting into this is our perspective, so this is like transcendental knowledge. There's the risks of this a little bit are that we are one perspective, right? So Colorado affecting AI, our AI is going to sound more Coloradoan, but other parts of the world, other cultures, other languages, everybody, if they're not using it, they're not contributing to this, and so it lends itself to this like interesting transcendental knowledge becomes ours. So.
Can I make one point there? Okay, that is helpful for me to hear because I'm just going to say on the justice side, I am pushing our school districts that serve predominantly BIPOC and historically marginalized students to start teaching this right away and getting them on there. And this is a helpful push for me because otherwise, how is this perpetuating white supremacy, the elite? Yeah, really good point. So all of us here need to be on it. Okay, thank you. Very helpful.
Yeah, just something to think about, I suppose. And as we push forward with this, like, make sure that people are included in this. From a like state of the industry perspective, ChatGPT is kind of our first vision of this, right? It's accessible, it's free, it's fast, like everybody in the world can use it. But there's a lot of other platforms. The website for ChatGPT is not chatgpt.com, it's openai.com. What that means is it's open source software, so everybody can download it and create their own. I'll get into that in a minute. So I want to play this first. It's kind of ruined by the fact of this, the topic of our whole thing here, but. Has everybody heard this? We know this? Okay. Okay, who's the artist? Drake, right? Fake Drake. That song kind of broke the internet, if you will, for AI. Like that was kind of the first entree we had as musicians looking into what the record industries were going to have to deal with and what we could do as people. So basically somebody created a rap song or a trap song with a trap beat and they put Drake's voice over top of it using AI, right? Put it on the internet. They pulled it down within like a week because they're like, this is a problem. Drake is not making any money off of this, and this thing is blowing up. So that, as soon as that happened, I think we all were like, okay, I see what we can do now. This is going to be trouble. Part of me says, who's afraid of this? It's the people that are making money off it right now. So record companies, people that are licensing music, people that have artists that are big enough to deal with this. Food for thought. I'm gonna play you two more, and I'm gonna tell you what. Beyonce song, but. So, that was Rihanna, a fake Rihanna. This next one I'm gonna play, this one was sort of the shining moment for me where I was like, all right, we got something here. How do you feel? Weird, itchy. All right, AI. Yeah. All right, so that was not Kanye. They used his voice to put on top of that. I use Kanye for a specific reason. He's kind of a problematic artist, as we all probably know, and it's getting more and more difficult to separate the artist from the art. I think that discussion has become a big discussion everywhere right now. It's hard to say Kanye West is separate from his music, from who he is as an artist. I think that bodes really well for us as musicians, because now anytime we put music out on TikTok or Spotify or anything like that, YouTube, it is closer to us, I think, than we realize. It's tied to our face, it's tied to our image. That's maybe my hope, that's my projection of hopefully what the music industry can look like, is that we're not gonna lose control of this. Does that make sense? Like, hopefully that does, because in the good old days, as they would call it, in the old days when there was no YouTube, there was no TikTok or anything like that, you couldn't really see the artist, except for maybe on the album cover. Nowadays, you're tied to it. So I think that bodes well for us as artists as we try not to become separated from our music. So, should we be worried about it? I don't know. This is one that I came up with yesterday. There's a website called Mellow Bytes. You can type in a prompt or two, you can choose a style of music, BPM and all this stuff, and it will spit out a music video. This is what it came up with. Oh, by the way, so the prompt that I said was 2 friends that got caught in a lightning storm in Denver. We were downtown a couple days ago, and it was crazy.
And is Mellow Bytes free?
Mellow Bytes is free. I'm gonna try to give you mostly free sites right now. So here we go. Tell me when you want to stop. Like, all right. It's terrible. So first thing I noticed was they don't speak Spanish, right? En el cabazón de Denver, like it was really pathetic. So first thing, I'm starting to notice some problematic things there that we can use as artists to like figure out. The second thing is, musically speaking, it was a song, right? It was a music video. You can use all of those things technically, but it needs so much work, all right? So as artists, what I want to do is just use AI as the beginning things. Jami brought this up. You can use this, pick a little bit from that, and move forward. So the first thing, obviously, chat, GPT, lyrics and text. It's great. But let's bring up images, right? Every artist, every musician needs to have some t-shirts or album covers. This is one that I did for a program we did recently. Hang on a minute. That's supposed to have a thing. There we go. All right, so this is the image. We went down to Colombia. This is like a flower that they have there. So I typed in the flower image. I took that. I put a little frame around it. Didn't like that. It seemed a little too, I don't know, avant-garde something. Put this in it. This is more Colombian. That's our t-shirt. right? This took me all of about half an hour to put together.
And how'd you do it? You just put the prompts in.
You put the prompts in, and I have the website up
That's
here.
okay. That's okay. You can keep going, but I'm curious how you.
No, it's DALL-E, which is
Oh yeah, of course.
ChatGPT's sort of
Are you guys on that yet?
OpenAI.
It's
yeah.
on OpenAI
It's
as
on
well. You can
OpenAI.
either go to ChatGPT or DALL-E, and you can prompt DALL-E with all of
So this is the one there.
your prompts.
You
Yep.
type it in, you figure out the flower, and it shows up.
Yep.
Easy peasy. I'll go back to this.
Yeah, I did one where I was teaching an AI session online, and I needed just a little prompt for it, as just like a tease to my friends, and so I wanted a robot with red lipstick and sunglasses laying on a beach as my poster. It was adorable.
It's not on Google already, so that's
Yeah.
You can't just
Yeah,
find
it's like yeah.
I love it. So yeah, use that. It's easy to use. You type it in. It's even free. They give you 5 free images a month or something like that. The next one that I like to use is Musicfy. Musicfy, they've changed. I think they got sued recently, so they've now changed so you can't do this exactly. But what you can do is you put your vocals in there and change it to Kanye West or Selena Gomez or something like that. So I'll play a before and after. Maybe. There we go. Just a clean vocal track, tuned, simple, and I put in Selena Gomez. Sounds exactly like her, right? It's crazy.
Can you take her lyrics and put it in Bobby's voice?
Probably, yeah. Or your lyrics and put it in her voice, or my lyrics and your voice in her song, and you can do all of these things.
But it will take voice imprints and duplicate them.
Yeah. That's part of the existential conversation we'll have outside.
It will, yeah.
Yeah, that's real. But here's the thing. We can't bury our heads in the sand. The more we know it, we have to know about this to create any kind of agency over it. I really do believe that, right? It's happening. All of this is happening, and it doesn't give a shit whether or not we adopt it, right? So I would rather know how to use all of this, what it's out there for, and how all of you can leverage it for your success I would love to see that in an ethical way, but that's between you and, your overlords, whoever they might be.
Yeah, that's a great point. The ethics of this are huge. In some ways, we're contributing to this and fighting this and using it and ignoring it. It's a big part of what we're doing. So at least we got to know what it is that we're up against or up
point.
with. This was what I'm. Nice clean vocals.
Nice clean vocals, by the way.
Thank you. Let's see. So I picked, hopefully you recognize them, if it goes. Here we go. I think we can. I downloaded this earlier in case the internet was being silly. There.
Follow the sound in the noise that you've always known.
Stewie Griffin from Family Guy.
Oh, I can hear that now.
So this is what we could do. You could drop this into a song, and it's there, right? Obviously, we have to deal with the licensing and the ethical side of things, and does this actually fit into a song? There's a lot of questions there to answer, but at least we can know what we're dealing with.
Is there a licensing concern if you chose to add a little bit of a voice that, similar to an artist that you liked, and then it turns out to be part of your song?
Absolutely.
Can they literally analyze that and say, this is specifically this person's voice, and therefore you have to do this? Do they have that?
That's a really good question.
I would imagine.
That's a really good question. And honestly, that's what we're... Can you prove it? Exactly. Mm-hmm. And beyond that, I can mimic your voice, but is it copyright? Or...
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Exactly. I think the biggest thing that they can say right now is if you're trying to pass yourself off as Drake or Stewie Griffin, that's a problem. But if I say, my name is Richie Robot, and here's my track, it might sound exactly like Drake, but it's not. Is that a problem? Have I trained all of my AI on Drake, and therefore I've used his copyright material to create mine? It's really touchy, and frankly, like, that's a little bit above my pay grade. That's where the lawyers are coming in, and we're gonna kind of have to figure that out. But I want to get to that in a minute. I'm going to make sure you see all of these tools here because I know we're short on time.
Yeah, and you're doing fine. And I think we're going to talk about outside of here all of those kind of implications. For this session, we're really just trying to focus on getting you the tools. Yeah.
Great. So what's coming next? Google is working on, it's called Music LM. They're in a phase right now where they have beta testing, and you can sign up to be a beta tester, and they might give it to you. Their whole thing is, if you give it a very simple prompt, it will create music. So let me start that. So if that's the prompt,
was your prompt?
That was, so this is Google's prompt. They just sing that into that.
Okay.
And then you can pick, let's see, guitar solo. How about string quartet? Beyond that, do what artists do. Google LM. It's still on GitHub.
And
Or
this is
music.
still in beta mode.
It is. Music LM is, if you Google that, it should come up. But they have other things where you could put in a painting and it will create music from that. As if, you're an artist. Matisse.
I want to hear the, who do we got there?
The scream? Okay.
Let's hear the scream.
Inspired by a hallucinatory experience.
Wow.
Kooky,
Yep.
right? Like, and there's so many more things there. Like, you just type in acoustic guitar, or you type in a place, a beach in the Caribbean. This is the. So it's all there. That's what's happening. So you can use that maybe to inspire yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking is here's how my mind went, is I saw that painting and that music, and immediately I started thinking about our classrooms, and I'm like, oh, that's such a beautiful prompt for the classrooms, right? And how can they create music based on a painting and then compare it to what the AI created, right? Like, I think there's opportunity here to get our creative juices flowing. And I don't know if you guys need that sometimes like I do. Like sometimes you're just maxed out, right? And you're like, I had to do that for a couple sessions. Like I've been leading sessions all week, and there was one moment that I was like, I'm brain drain. I need to ask it, like, give me 20 question ideas for my panel about money. And I used like 4 of them, 5 of them, but it got the juices flowing. So I think at minimum, we could be using it in that way.
To start, absolutely. I'm going to give you 2 more.
Please do.
One
Yeah.
is for this purpose specifically to get things going. There's one called Boomy, Boomy.
And we'll send you all of this after too.
Oh, yeah. So crowdsource this. Can we pick one of these? Global Groove. Love it. Okay. And then chill beats inspired by globally popular styles like Latin reggae and Afrobeat. Pick one of these. Sunset. Love it. Okay. Create song. Meanwhile, while this is going, what we could do is say, ChatGPT, let's see, write some lyrics about a hot room In the heart of Denver, again, en el corazón.
Can you change that to say, can you play with that prompt and say, write them in the form of, and then pick an artist? Like write it in the voice of and pick an artist?
Yes.
Revise these to sound more like Rihanna lyrics.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Does anybody sing in here? Like,
Okay.
do you feel like singing along with this? I know some people are like, I don't want to sing in public. I'll try to blow this
Which
up a little.
one?
She's
Do
out
you want to? She said, hell no.
Hell
Maybe
no.
later.
Let's see. Where is it? Sounds like Doogie Howser.
It's so Doogie Howser.
It is. I don't like it. I'm gonna change.
We hate it. Trash it.
Instrument. I want acoustic guitars. Doogie Howser vibes. I just want to try this just to see like if we can get here as a group. We got like 2.5 minutes. So,
Yeah, take your time.
Let's see here. And partial disclaimer, we're blowing through this whole thing like crazy. And I love what you said earlier about like we're early adopters. Like we're like 2 years into this. So if you're here now, I feel like you kind of are an early adopter.
For sure.
In a sense. We're trying to figure this out as we
This is
go.
like when we were inputting code on green screens and
my God.
you know what I mean? Like,
You know what the little icon of save
Yeah.
means. You know the floppy disk.
what are you trying to say? What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
1, 2.
We're back in the doogie.
Yeah, we are. I don't know why it's got this instrument.
It's fine. What is this instrument?
It's a hot room in Denver where we're burning up sweet drips like diamonds in this desert cup. But we dance through flames, hand in hand, yeah. In this fiery furnace, we make our stand.
Oh, shit.
All right. All right. So you get it. Like we could do this pretty quickly. So simple. Last thing I want to give you is this. So this is maybe the future, maybe where we're at, or maybe the cutting edge. If I can blow this up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So the very bottom one there, GitHub. So Sovitz, basically, let me see if I can go to this side here quickly.
Well, he pulls this up. Can we give it up for Richard for going down this road with us? And I might have to cut out a little bit early to do an interview at the main stage about our harm reduction strategy and fentanyl testing, which we have on site. But before I head out, and you guys can wrap, but you know, I think we have to keep an open mind, keep a community collective spirit about this, share widely what we're learning. And I really do believe that nothing will replace the human creative spirit. It will not replace your live performances. It will not replace your heart, your North Star journey. It is a tool, I think, I hope, to continue to help you elevate on that journey. And I think in the meantime, shit's getting weird, man, and we should probably just kind of have fun with it, right? We talk about this all the time. Like, let's just have fun with it, you know? Okay, Richard's gonna take us home. I gotta go to the main stage. Thank you all so
Jami.
much.
Thank you. I'll be quick too. I know it's hot. We gotta go. So I have like 2 more minutes and then I'll let you out. But this last thing is kind of where we are in the cutting edge. Basically, since it is open source, since all of this is something that you can download, what I'm working on right now and what a lot of other artists are is training an AI on their own voice. So if you download this, you got to do a little bit of coding and work in Python and stuff like that. There's plenty of tutorials online so you can figure this out. But the idea is that I can put in my own vocals into that and have my own AI. And so that way it's not really necessarily influenced by somebody else. It's legal because it's mine, right? But you can use this sort of stuff on your own, and that's going to be like where people are creating their own programs. So obviously ChatGPT and OpenAI is a big one, but there are so many other music-based ones that you can pay for, like Voicify, like Vocloner.com. Like what they're doing is they're taking this OpenAI, creating a platform and an interface for you to use, and then selling it to you. That's what's happening. So that's where we're at in our like business of AI in music. Yeah. I don't. I don't yet. Frank, I'll be really honest, like I've only like looked at GitHub in the past, and I just started doing this to like figure this out, which is like, I'm a musician, I'm a beatboxer. Like I don't have any other skills in this world. Clearly like architect for Quiznos does not count as like high level ability. So I'm trying to figure this out too. It's kind of not fair as artists that we have to understand everything about everything all the time, but that's kind of where we're at, right? So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to close up with this sort of like little thought here. These are some quotes from global music executives. Sony Music they have particular concerns about the potential for synthesized voice using cover songs to attempt to replace artists. They're going to watch that very closely. That's where they're at. Michael Nash from Universal says, the bottom line is AI developers are ignoring the ethics of ingesting the creative work of others. And then on the flip side of that, the important thing for us is to have local people who truly and authentically understand music and artists' culture on the ground. So as you're going forward, if you're encouraging people to use this, like make sure people realize that this is free, it's accessible, it's usable by everybody. Thank you so much. Obviously, like Spanish is a worldwide language, and that was like the crummiest video you've ever heard. So like my hope is in the future we can keep using this, not just for ourselves, but educate the people around us to use it. I think I should stop there, otherwise we could go on forever. But thank you guys.